Have you ever been around someone that's quick to argue, and have you wondered why? In this video, I'm going to share with you 4 insights into people who love to argue. The first insight I'm going to share with you is low self-esteem. Typically, these people who love to argue just don't think very highly of themselves. So the best way that they can feel better about themselves is to try to argue with you, argue with me, so they look better, so they feel better about themselves. If I can win an argument with you, then I'm going to feel better about myself. But they're on just this downward spiral. This low self-esteem spiral is a dangerous place. So what can you do in that situation if someone wants to behave that way in your discussions with them, this low self-esteem approach? Try to build them up, but for the right reasons. You want to encourage them genuinely on the things that you see in them that they're good at, that they have value, that you admire about them. So be genuine with those things. If you're not genuine, people are going to pick up on it and they're going to know it. Point number 2 is they are insecure. So insecurity, it kind of goes along with low self-esteem, but insecurity is just more like I'm playing a comparison game. I'm always comparing how I'm doing. I'm looking for approval from everybody that I encounter. So it's just insecure. I'm not secure in who I am. And the big key to this one is if you're dealing with someone who has insecurities, you want them to know that there is a way out. And in my world, it is all about Jesus and following Jesus. If you're not a Jesus person, I completely understand. If you are, you completely understand what I'm saying. But if you're insecure, it makes sense because we shouldn't be secure in ourselves. Left alone, left to us, we are nothing. But with Jesus, we are everything. We have a new life. We have a new identity. We can walk in Jesus' power. So if you want more information on that side of it because you don't know much about Jesus, which is where I was about 10 years ago, reach out to me. I'd love to have a discussion with you. All right, point number 3, their identity is in this world. So when you talk to these people, it is, all about, well, it's what I have, what I do, what I'm aspiring to do. I. And they will argue with you on those points. They will be adamant and they'll want to say, well, what are you doing? And they want to start an argument around the things of this world, the identity in this world. Well, what are you doing? Are you saving money? They want to argue back and forth. If you say, hey, I love to go hiking. Oh, that's a waste of time. Why are you doing that? That's not going to get you anywhere. That's not going to make you money. So they're just always in an argumentative mode. And a lot of times it's around this world stuff, this world identity stuff, what they have, what they aspire to do, and what they want to be, possessions, all that kind of thing. So people are quick to argue. A lot of times it's about that, is their identity is stuck in this world. It's not stuck in something that's long-lasting, that's inspiring. They don't have that true purpose that I've talked about in the past. So those are the people that want to argue because they may be searching for their purpose, but they just don't know where to find it. And the 4th factor, someone that loves to argue, they're just a bully. They are literally just a bully. They get a thrill, they get satisfaction out of being a bully and arguing with someone, beating them down. They actually enjoy that. With bullies, of course, we learned that when we were kids, you just stand up to bullies. So if you can verbally stand up to a bully, then that may help them. If they're argumentative, though, and they're trying to bully and it's in an argument stage, I would just recommend go to silence and just listen, nod your head, and agree with them. Disarm them with that. Jesus talks about if they slap you on the left cheek, give them your right cheek. That's what you want to do. You want to just counteract them with your goal being to pacify them a little bit. And maybe if they can realize in the middle of their bullying tactics that maybe they are bullying, you may have made some inroads with them. You may have helped them in their life going forward. So those are the 4 signs and the reasons why, if you encounter somebody who loves to argue, I bet you it's one of those 4 reasons that I talked about, and I've given you a couple of strategies on how you deal with each of those. Good luck. Let's go out there and let's make this world a place where there aren't as many arguments, because really arguments don't solve anything. They don't do any good, do they? My personal experience with people who like to argue, I've never been a person that wants to argue back with someone who likes to argue. But, somebody that I knew really well that was really close to me would get into that. And it was tough for me for a while because, again, this was a family member that just loved to argue. And I learned pretty quickly that there was nothing positive that could come from the argument. So I would just listen, hear them out until they ran out of steam, basically. And I wouldn't argue back, but I would just share, hey, you know what? You don't need to do this. Hey, you know what? You don't need to prove anything to me. And I would just speak those things into them. Because again, if you know that these people are insecure, maybe their self-esteem is off a little bit, they don't know where their identity should come from, or they're just a bully, you just want to counter that argumentative style with calm. You don't want to try to interact with someone that loves to argue with arguing right back. That's just going to fuel them. You want to almost give them the opposite, which will cause them to take a look in the mirror if you're lucky. Subscribe with the notification bell to receive regular updates. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button to see more like it. Comment down below. This can be with questions or answers to a question you ask. And we will see you next time on this amazing journey from isolation to community, where the next step beyond is freedom.